What's up, guys? My name is Chris, and Cal fans, we need to talk. All right, now it's no secret that we have an absolutely once-in-a-generation talent on our hands in Jiren, Keawe, Sagopolutele. And it just makes me so sad and kind of upset, really, that I had to make this video. That I feel like every time after a game, or particularly after a loss, I run to the, Right for California comment section or the Cal algorithm, or I talk to my Cal friends in person, and I feel like there's almost this vibe of a paranoid boyfriend, that's pervading the fan base. And I really think it's sort of, hindering Cal fans and preventing them from sort of giving him that unhinged support, that unhinged love that we're famous for, really. And where I obviously can understand where you guys are coming from, particularly with last year and what went on with he who shall not be named. But listen, Cal fans, I needed to make this video because I've done a deep dive, I've done my research, and I bring you guys good news. And I want all of you to be able to enjoy the season and watch these games and enjoy his development and dream about how good he's going to look with the full offseason with Nick Rolovich in a Cal uniform for his sophomore year. I want you to dream about that, and I want you to sleep at night knowing that he's coming back. And so I think the main narrative, right, and reason that I think a lot of people nationwide, that we got, Ohio State and Oregon, looking over our shoulder, thinking that they can just poach this guy off, and a lot of the major media running with that, is there is this narrative, and there is this thought out there, mainly pervaded, by Mendoza and sort of what's gone on in the program for the past 10 years, that Cal is poor, that Cal ultimately will not have the type of resources and the money available to retain a player of the caliber of Jiren, Keawe, Sagopolutele. And I know it's as funny as that sounds, right? If you're from Cal, you know that we're probably probably the most well-endowed alumni base in all of the world, to be honest. And so that's where the narrative really comes in, and it's pervaded by a couple different things. But I would just like to point out that, in the past, as long as NIL has been in the frame where you could literally pay for players, and it came down to your donor base really just being in a bidding war with others, Cal's been at the top. We've done this before. We've spent big money. And if you don't believe me, all right, I just want to pop up 2023 transfer class. Number 18, Bink. How you like that? Next schools, South Carolina, Ole Miss, 2024, where we were number 17. Now, Cal fans, I ask you guys, do you think that we landed those transfer classes because Wilcox really put on his recruiting hat and really persuaded these kids? No. Or do you think it was because we had millions and loads of alumni money? Shout out Kennedy. Shout out the Cal NIL Fund. They literally saved the program. Thank God for them. And so, listen, I know what you guys are thinking. All right, Chris. Well, if Cal's so rich and Cal's got all this money in their football department for NIL, then how come we just watched half of our team transfer in the offseason, right? How come we only brought in the 38th transfer portal class? How come Jaren's receivers look like they're playing hacky sack half the time when the ball gets thrown to them? Shout out Sean Grizel, Jordan King. I love you guys. Just for, just a saying, right? And the answer really comes down to a lot of what happened in the offseason. And it's very crucial that Cal fans understand this moving forward. What if I told you that there was a new man in charge, right? A new man in charge who was so beloved by donors, who's such a supernova of force, such an enigmatic figure on campus, that donors were literally willing to go on strike to withhold money at a time when Cal's football department needed it more than ever to keep players like Endries and Ott, needed it more than ever to bring in that portal class. They withheld it. They said, no, not unless you put this man in charge. Ron Rivera has entered the building, ladies and gentlemen, and we are in a new dawn of Cal football. And ladies and gentlemen, I ask you the question. Do you think now that Ron is in charge and now, the strike is lifted. And by the way, I will point out that not a single penny that he's raised is on the field right now because he only got here in May. I want to point that out. Do you guys think that donors are going to just go back to donating the same amount that they did before that got us those 17 and 18 transfer classes? You think, or maybe do you think that someone like Ron, who's in the exact demographic, who went to school with the mega, millionaires and billionaires, Cal alumni donors, who's the most well-beloved and ingrained person with the credibility, who's won at every level, won as a coach, won as a player, and now is going to win as a GM? Or do you think that maybe he will unlock the donor base and maybe just get a little bit more, right, than we got before? And that's the understatement of Center. He's getting a lot more. And I have it on good authority, and I think it's a not very well-kept secret that Cal is raising hell right now on the donor trail, right? And so, guys, Ron's been here since May, all right? And the difference between Ron and, some of our previous ADs is that Ron actually knows football. He knows it better than any of us, knows it better than me, better than you, better than anyone, right? The Super Bowl coach, okay? So the first time that he laid eyes on Jiren, Keawe, Sagopolutele, you don't think he knew that this kid is special? So you're telling me that Ron Rivera, proven winner, proven success, you give him it'll be, by the time the portal opens, it'll have had about almost a year to prepare, to think about how we're going to keep Jiren. And he knows better than anyone that if we don't keep Jiren, it's over. You might as well get fired. And he's very on his sleeve about this, right? I mean, you ask the guy, hey, Ron, what'd you have for breakfast today? And he says, oh, yeah, well, I had some eggs, but it's really important that we keep Jiren. Roll the clip.
Coach of the team program.
The kid who's taking the snap right now, Jaron Sagopolutele, he's a special player. And you and I were talking off camera. When you watch him play, what's top of mind?
Well, just his presence in the pocket, has a great feel for where the pressure's coming from, steps out of trouble for the most part, and delivers a very catchable ball. I mean, he's a heck of a young man, and the big thing we got to do now is we got to make sure we're able to retain him.
What are you doing, and what are you planning to do in terms of retaining Sagopolutele?
Well, like I said, we have a marketing plan, and we've met with some brands, some companies, and we're talking about things, and we're putting this whole package together. And at the appropriate moment, we'll get it ready to go.
You're confident you'll be able to retain him?
I am. I really am.
Based on
this is the University of California.
Because we're the University of California is right, ladies and gentlemen. And because we have Ron Rivera, I guarantee you guys that if JKS wants to leave Cal, he'll damn near have to take a pay cut to do so. That's right, I said it. And, all that money is useful not just for keeping Jiren, but it's also going to help us haul our roster into a contender, right? I mean, look what he's doing right now as a true freshman with 2 former walk-on receivers, a slot receiver from UNLV, and the backup tight end from Idaho. That's not to say I don't love Mason Minnie, Jordan King, Tron Grizel, and Jacob DeJesus. I love you guys. But in the portal, with that money and the draw of coming to play for Jiren and another year of development, I mean, we're going to be a goddamn powerhouse. Really, guys, I'm not being a Cal homer. The ingredients are there, right? The ingredients are there, right? And so you'd be remiss anytime you're talking about a college kid and what's going on in the portal, you'd be remiss to not mention his personal situation. And luckily for us, that's another factor that plays into our favor, right? Now, listen, guys, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know everything about, Jaren's personal life or his childhood and family dynamics and whatnot, but it would be remiss to say that family absolutely does play a role in any recruitment or, movement of a college player. And I think it really did play a big role in, the departure of Fernando Mendoza, where you have factors working against Cal, like his mother getting sick and him not feeling comfortable being so far away. You had his younger brother who he had the chance to play with. And, if he had come to Cal, I think it's suffice to say that, Berto or whatever was not getting any minutes behind Jiren, Keawe, Sagopolutele. It just wasn't going to happen. So you saw family dynamics play a role against Cal in that situation. But in this one, Jiren is a 5-star recruit, had offers from everywhere around the moon, and yet it was always a 2-horse race coming out of high school. It was always Cal and Oregon, right? It was always important for him to be near Hawaii. He didn't feel comfortable, being a 20-hour flight away from home, out in Georgia, out in Miami. He didn't feel comfortable making his friends and family taking a 16-hour flight, to go play for the Texas Longhorns. That absolutely played a role. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind with Jiren is this guy is a proud Samoan, right? His grandmother was Genoa Keawe Sagopolutele, a famous Hawaiian folk singer who would sing in native Hawaiian tongue. She's great, by the way. Look her up on Spotify. And between Cal and Oregon, those are the 2 schools, with the Hawaiian Polynesian presence. And so, of course, that does leave one school, one true threat, and that obviously would be Oregon, with the Phil Knight infinite money glitch. That's always going to be very scary for Cal fans, but I got good news to report there, guys, too. Dante Moore, he won't even be 21 by the time the NFL draft comes along. People close to him saying that he's going to stay. Bink. All right? And he just got injured, taking away further experience that he said that he wants to take at the college level. So he's too good to bring in a replacement for him, right? After he wins them the Big Ten or whatever he's going to do. So I really don't see Oregon as that much of a threat. So Cal fans, all right, take a deep breath. Enjoy watching these games. Enjoy knowing that we have JKS for at least another year. Support him. Give him your heart. He will not let you down, guys. Crack a beer, because this next era of Cal football is going to be truly great. If you guys like this video at all, or had any thoughts whatsoever, leave them in the comments. I promise I'll respond to each and every single one. I really only started this channel just because I love to talk shop about Cal football, and I'd love to debate with you guys, all right? So I'm going to be continuing to upload videos whenever I have time in my schedule. And if you're interested, hit the subscribe, I look forward to it, guys. All right. I'm Chris, and go Bears, guys.